An exciting day for League1 Ontario. We're joined by Executive Chairman of League1, Dino Rossi. My name is Marty Thompson of League1 and CanPL.ca. Dino, quite a bit to the announcement today, but to break it down, both the men's and women's sides of this league going into tiers starting in 2024. Maybe we'll just start generally. So what came to this announcement? How did you come to this? This obviously was years in the making, right?
Yeah, thanks, Marty, for having me. Definitely, this is not something that just came overnight. We've been plotting this for several years. In fact, this should have been called the 2023 plan, but if not for COVID, we would have already announced this. We have been looking at a evolution of our competition structure for a while. The popularity of League1, the demand from across the soccer community to be part of League1 has grown so much over the last number of years. And we realize we've achieved a level of scale that really allows for this type of structure to be put in place. And for us to be able to get away from traditional expansion into our league, quote unquote, and instead create a true pyramid and allow new clubs to join at the bottom of the pyramid and earn their way up through it. And it will obviously, for anybody who's familiar with any promotion relegation system that exists anywhere, will create a lot of excitement week in, week out during the regular season, because every game is going to matter in terms of placement.
You just kind of touched on it there, Dino. So just blankly, why? Obviously, by splitting them into divisions, you have that upper tier, those competitive teams that get more competitive, and those games are bigger. And then on the lower end, it allows teams to grow. So why exactly, from a competition side, from an on-the-field side, would this be the way to go for League1?
Well, we definitely want to see more outstanding games more often. There can be, in a league of 22 teams, often a number of match weeks where the games have a little bit less drama involved. We also want, you have to realize that not every club in our league has the exact same ambition. We have some clubs that are highly ambitious, obviously, about winning the league, competing in Canadian Championship, and that's amazing. We have other clubs that really see themselves as very committed player development leagues, and they're maybe a little more focused on younger players, and they may not be able to week in, week out compete at the highest level, but they still are very competitive, and they're still important parts of our league. With a system like this, clubs will find their level. And as their ambition evolves, you might see somebody who sees themselves as a little more focused on younger players eventually alter that and fight to get into the Premier Division. But we are now going to have a level for everybody, and we're going to have a better vehicle for new organizations to come in and work their way through and earn their way to the top, as opposed to being parachuted in. Which is how every expansion system works that way, but we feel we've reached a point where that's not the best way forward for us anymore, and this is the right strategy at the right time.
And then just quickly breaking down for those who have already checked on the website, or who haven't yet, I should say, 8 to 12 teams on both the men's and women's sides in Premier Division and Championship Division, and then League2, which is sort of the new league, I guess you want to call it. Obviously, the Championship was toyed with a bit this year in the shortened COVID season, but League2 would be where those new clubs would begin their journey into the League1 pyramid, with one promotion and relegation spot between them. Between those three tiers. Without giving too much away, I know you don't want to use the term expansion, Dino, but just give us a taste of the interest for clubs and for groups to get into League1, and how that ultimately fueled this decision.
Oh, geez. We've got somewhere in the range of 14 to 16 clubs who have submitted formal or informal requests to join the league in the last 6 months. without us even putting anything out there that we were expanding. We weren't. We had no plans to expand. And yet the requests were coming in from all across the landscape. Even yesterday, I had a conversation with groups about it. So there is the interest never ends, and that's a great thing. We've built something special here. It's an important part of the Ontario soccer landscape. It's the top of the talented pathway in this province, and we need to just keep pushing to make it better. If you get comfortable, if you are satisfied with status quo, you will go backwards. You always have to be going forward, and this is a really key decision for us, and it's something that's been a couple years in the making, and now is the right time to roll it out.
Just a couple more here for you, Dino. Just a quick thought on the women's side of this. Obviously, format's very similar on both, but for the women's tier, this is the top tier in this country right now. Big chance for this whole division, this whole group of divisions rather, to grow and foster. Is that how you sort of see that, and what would be the future of this going forward?
Well, we definitely know that we have a big responsibility between ourselves, PLSQ, and the new BCL1 as representing the highest level of football for women in this country. By tiering, we narrow that focus even a little bit more. The pyramid gets a little bit more narrow. We will have probably our expectation in 2024 will be 10 teams in the Premier Division for the women. That's going to be one outstanding competition with the best of the best playing at that level in Ontario. And I foresee that to be a war to win that league. And there will be no easy games. There will be nothing that you can sleep on in that league. We hope to see professional women's soccer in this country soon, not sooner than later, but soon. And we think that this kind of competition structure, which will focus the quality of our competition even more, we can provide a stepping stone for the top players into a future women's professional league, very much in the same way that our men's division did when the CPL launched. And in year one, there were, and I forget the exact number now, but in the range of 40 players make that graduation step to the CPL out of League One. And that is exactly what we're here for. And that is exactly what we want. The clubs might cry a little bit about losing so much talent, but that's exactly what we're here for. And we're excited about that potential.
Yeah, very excited for the growth of the women's division. You've already seen it over the last 5 or so years. It's grown exponentially in quality. Just a couple more again, as I said, just one promotion and one relegation spot between the divisions. I know that's kind of a tentative thought. Like, will that change? I know you're nodding your head. Will that change? What's the idea with just keeping one spot for now?
We have a little bit of time to finalize some of the mechanics of what it's going to look like in 2024. Everything that's in the proposal is what has been tabled and approved unanimously by all our clubs, by our board of directors. But, we have a little bit of time to fine-tune it. It's possible that we could allow 2 teams to go up and down. We could have promotion playoffs. We haven't worked out all the fine details about 2024 yet, because we're much more focused in the next 12 months about getting back to a normal competition and really getting the excitement going about the fact that the next 2 seasons, 2022 and 2023, means so much. The points accrued by all the teams over these next 2 years are going to be what decides what level their teams will operate at in 2024. So we're much more focused there, making sure we have all the rules in place to make sure everybody understands all that good stuff for this coming 2 years. And we're going to continue to fine-tune the details around how the mechanics of promotion relegation will work when we get to 2024, and gives us more opportunities to have announcements as we have more details to share.
just leave more up in the air, more speculation,
That
more stuff to talk about it. It's great. You did touch on a great wrinkle, though. Yeah, 75% of points accumulated in 2022, and then 100% of the points accumulated in 2023 will go into this probably amazing table to look at the end of next year to see who will land in which division. And then quickly, just outside of the tiers, the return of the League1 Ontario Cup, a cup system for both men's and women's. What went into that decision as well?
Well, once you start to separate your competition and have multiple tiers, I felt that it made absolute sense to have a cup competition that allows for all the teams in under the League One umbrella to compete against one another. In a format that we had in the past, we stepped away from it, but this seems like the perfect opportunity to bring it back. We just had a coaches meeting on the weekend, and there is absolute interest in a cup. Like, they wanted to bring it back now. We're gonna do it when it makes a little bit 2024. So, you know, even if you play in the championship, or even if you play your new club coming up through League 2, you still get a chance to maybe knock off one of the big guys in the Premier Division. So from our standpoint, it's a no-brainer, and it's just going to add a lot of interest to the overall competition.
Brilliant. Dino, any final thoughts on this? You know, it really does feel like kind of a League1 Ontario 2.0 to maybe do a bit of editorializing, right? When you talk about some of these big clubs that are coming in, you know, we had big rollouts for, you know, Electric City in Simcoe County. Obviously, you have Guelph, the defending champions. On the men's side, you know, this really does kind of seem like a bit of a turning point going into 2024. Just your thoughts on that and how that plays into today's announcement.
There is no doubt in my mind at all that League1 Ontario is going through a very big and important evolutionary phase in its growth. We're closing in on 10 years. It's amazing to think that, but we're there. And like any business, any organization that's been around, that's survived 10 years, close to, you know, you evolve. And from this, you know, if you want to call it League1 2.0, that's fine. But look at from my standpoint, what's happening across this country. There's a lot of growth happening in Quebec. The introduction of BCL1. It's an exciting time at this level. We, being the biggest province, having the biggest player pool, we're in a unique situation where we can have this number of teams and not have the quality of competition. So it gives us this opportunity to put a marker down and be innovative and give this a try. And I mean, we're committed to it. It's not give it a try, but show everybody it can work, and hopefully maybe it creates replicas across the country, and it creates even more excitement for this level of football across the country, because there are players everywhere in this country who need that opportunity to play at this high quality level to be able to showcase themselves to the next. And you know, that's what gets us excited every day to be part of this league.